Welcome to Tehachapod, the City of Tehachapi's podcast, where we share conversations with local leaders, business owners, and community members. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to follow and subscribe to learn something new and discover ways to get involved in our community.
Hello and welcome back to Tehachapod. Maya Acosta here, joined by Jim Cinney, who, if you have started this episode, you've heard a new sound in the last few episodes, and that is thanks to Jim. So Jim, first, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, and so what we're talking about is our new open and close music for Tehachapod. You submitted one of your songs during our call to musicians and our kind of contest, if you will, for a new song to lead into our podcast here that we've been doing for several years, and it just needed a little bit of a new sound. So thanks to you for submitting your song.
Well, thanks for choosing it.
Of course. Can we talk a little bit about you as a musician? You said before we started recording here that you've been playing guitar since you were 15. Mm-hmm. How did that come to be, and what's the process been like over the years?
Came to be, I think I was in junior high school, and walked into a school dance, and they had a live band up on the stage. So this is like 7th grade. And I looked up there and saw the band playing and thought, I want to do that. And that's where this all began. I finally got a hold of a guitar around 15 and have never put one down since.
Okay, so guitar is your main instrument. Do you venture out at all? I know like some guitar players also play bass, or I don't know, vice versa?
Yeah, no, I play a few instruments, guitar mostly, and pedal steel guitar. I can play bass. Played a little mandolin once upon a time, and I still have one, but I'm not real good at it. So that kind of stays in the closet.
Okay, that's fair. And I mean, you're talking steel guitar. Steel guitar and pedal guitar, those are different, right? The pedal is where it's laid horizontally?
It's horizontal,
okay.
Yeah. That's called a pedal steel guitar. They call it a steel because your left hand, you actually have what's called a tone bar, or a solid round piece of steel that you're moving and sliding up and down the neck. And it does have pedals that are controlled by the left foot, and then 4 knee levers underneath. So you've got 2 knee levers on each knee, and then your right foot sits on a volume pedal. So it's kind of a complex little thing. That's
cool. I love the steel guitar. It's always been one of my favorite instruments, and the mandolin. But so it sounds like you play a variety of music, because the mandolin's more commonly with folk music, right? Mm-hmm. And then steel guitar, you can go rock, country, kind of a whole gamut.
Yeah. Mostly country music with the pedal steel. There's different tunings for those things, and some of it is used for jazz and western swing. Some of it's used for country. I've heard people playing rock on it. Robert Randolph is a good example of kind of a gospel type pedal steel player. That's where his roots come from.
Interesting stuff. Okay, I'm curious to learn a little bit more about the song that you submitted that people have heard here at the beginning of the episode. You called it "Done Ate My Chocolate," and you said in your submission that it was about your horse.
Correct.
Can you tell me a little bit about this story?
Certainly. I have several horses. This one, her name is Holly, and she is a dun. She is also a buckskin, and her registered name was Done Ate My Chocolate. And after I wrote the song and we were recording it, I needed a name, and I just pulled that out of the air. So that's where it came from. There's really no significance with that.
Okay, interesting. So it wasn't like she actually ate your chocolate or anything.
No, that was her registered name.
Interesting. Do horses often have strange names like that they're registered under? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, all right.
Yeah, we had one. Her name we called her Emma, but her registered name was Valentine for You. Okay. So they when they register these horses, they usually find some unique names for those.
All right. I like it. That's good to know. I had no clue that there is... That was a common thing with registering and naming horses. So what would you describe that song genre-wise? Is that kind of your sweet spot, what you like to make the most? Or do you have a preferred genre that you like to play? And
I really don't have any specific genres that I play in. Being a young kid listening to a lot of rock and roll in the earlier days, a lot of that was all blues-based. So I kind of have deep roots in that. Grew up at a time when disco music was popular on the radio, although I don't care for disco music. But so I find sometimes when I do play something, I find a little of that influence in there as well.
So who are some of those bands specifically that growing up, I would say, who are some of your early musical influences?
Probably the earliest would be Simon and Garfunkel, when I discovered Mom and Dad's record collection and started listening to some of that. And progressive rock, I remember listening to Rush when they first came out, and that really kind of blew my mind. I remember sneaking out when I was a teenager to go to Grateful Dead concerts because we lived up in the Bay Area, so that was accessible.
Yeah, very nice.
And so they're a big influence on my music right now.
Mm-hmm. Now, you are in a band called Four of a Kind. Tell me a little bit about that. What are the sort of music bands, I should say, that you guys cover and like to play? You guys play all around town, right?
Yeah, we do. Wherever we can, any place that'll have us. But we started, we really kind of got together, I'm going to say probably about 10 years ago. I've been hosting an open mic night over at a local brewery called Local Craft Beer. Mm-hmm. And these are all fellas that have been coming in and never formally tried to put a band together or recruited anybody. These were just, fellow musicians that just kind of fell in, and it works.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about that open mic night. Yeah, before we started recording as well, Greg stopped by and recognized you from there. And so you're kind of like the house band that plays for some of the other artists that come in and play during the open mic?
Correct. We set up and we usually play the first 3 songs. Mm-hmm. And then there's usually a list. There's like a chalkboard where people sign up on. And after we get done with our 3 songs, then we start calling the performers up. And every performer gets to do 3 songs. And then by the end of the evening, if there's still time left over, then it becomes kind of a big jam. People get up and play, and they call others to come up and join them. And even the performers that come up sometimes will say, ask another musician to come sit in with them and do that sort of thing. Nice.
So it's a really collaborative sort of event that people can go and test the waters. Maybe they've never performed before, or that's the power and beauty of music and other art forms, right? Is finding new ideas and other people that are talented in other ways that maybe you aren't, and then putting that together and you create some really great masterpiece there. What's some of we have so many talented people here locally, musicians, artists, actors, set builders, like the list goes on and on. I'm sure you've heard some really impressive singers and seen some very impressive musicians. Is there anybody or any instance that really stuck out to you?
I would say not a single instance, but always, and I mean this, always on an open mic night, someone will come in and play something or do something, and it's unexpected, and it really catches my attention. And that's kind of the beauty of it is the spontaneity. There's no money on the line. There's no recording contracts. There's no, egos get checked at the door, that sort of thing. And everybody's welcome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so Four of a Kind plays around town, as we said. I've seen you guys play at the Bear Valley Country Club, which was a lot of fun. And then I don't know if it was Four of a Kind, but a version of you were playing with Cody at our hometown Christmas event with a more jazz ensemble. Mm-hmm. So you've got a wide variety. Do you have something that you prefer to play most? Or you're just happy to play?
I'm just happy to still be playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any, again, not genre specific. Mm-hmm. It's music is music, and, you can find a place to play in it somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how would you describe, or what are your thoughts on the local music scene here? We've got so many groups, Fiddler's Crossing, and then what you guys have going on at LCB, and what Derek Davis has going on at West Lane, and then all the musicians that kind of circuit through the wineries. What is that like to you? You said you moved here in about 2015. So how does that compare to other places that you've lived?
Well, there is and has been for some time an emerging music scene taking place here in this town. Mm-hmm. And it's really exciting to watch, hear, and be part of that. So that's my thrill. That's my charge. That's what I get out of it, is actually being part of something greater and trying to facilitate that and bring others in. I don't see music or art or entertainment in this town as a competition mm-hmm. in any way, shape, or form. there's always room for everybody else. And when someone wins, we all win. So it's really kind of a mutual thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're totally right on that. And we talk a lot about that too, kind of in terms of business and community partnerships too here on the podcast we are such a small town that is doing so much, but we are still small and getting the word out that there are these great things going on. So exactly as you said, there's no room to compete or have competition with people that are kind of doing the same thing or in the same vein as you. It's really all just about boosting one another up, and then it makes the experience better for everybody, the whole group, which is really great to hear.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I've seen you play at Bear Valley Country Club. Do you have any other local favorite spots that you like to perform at?
Love playing over at the VFW.
Okay.
And the folks over there are always very welcoming and always have a good time. You know, they already have the crowd there, and then we bring our crowd in with it, and it's just fun.
Yeah.
Playing at local craft beer too is kind of like playing at home for me, you know, because I've been doing this so long there, and it's just like coming home when we get to play there.
Yeah. Now, do you have any upcoming concerts or shows, I should say, here with Four of a Kind or any of the other shows that you have going on?
Let's see. Four of a Kind, I believe we've got a private party that we're playing at this Saturday coming up. Then I do some solo stuff at some of the wineries. I think June 1st I'm going to be playing at Tehachapi Wine and Cattle Company. I just played yesterday afternoon for the first time at Tehachapi Winery. Did a solo show there. And I got a few dates coming up from there as well.
Yeah. Now, do you get a different feel or vibe from each of the different wineries that you perform at? Is it a different clientele that you notice, or?
The vibe usually comes from the people in the audience.
Yeah.
And everywhere I've played at so far, the wineries, I always get a positive experience out of it. So have fun.
Yeah, it's all good. So if people are curious to learn more about your music or Four of a Kind's music, is there a good place that they can find you online?
I think we have on Instagram. I think Cody has put something together for us there on Instagram. You can look up Four of a Kind. I think we've got some videos posted on Facebook. You were gracious enough to come out and take some pictures and shoot some video of us at the Bear Valley Springs at the Oak Branch.
Yeah.
Oak Branch Saloon, mm-hmm. Yeah. And we do have another date coming up there. I just don't remember the date off the top of my head.
All right, so Instagram is the best place to look for all that.
Probably. I'm not really all that tech savvy as far as the social media and all that goes, but fortunately we have some younger folks playing with us that are.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I love it. And you guys really are a ton of fun to listen to. It's a different sort of collection of songs that you guys played than I'm used to hearing from some of the other local bands that we have around. Lots of Tom Petty and Grateful Dead, which was great. And yeah, you guys were just a lot of fun. You had all ages of people up dancing at the saloon that night that I saw you guys performing. And I'm sure that's a common sight that you see.
I like to see that sight, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
That's what recharges the batteries while we're doing all of this.
Absolutely. And is that what you see, too, at LCB when you guys perform?
Absolutely.
Or in all the
pretty much everywhere we play at.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad to see some younger folks coming in to LCB as far as, for open mic night and seeing these folks perform, because they bring a whole new slant or angle or different type of music than what I grew up listening to and playing, So for me, playing and them coming in, it's kind of like they would be listening to their grandparents' music, right? None of us as kids thought our parents' or grandparents' music was cool. So they bring this fresh take to things that I like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It is really cool to see some of the younger kids getting involved in the music scene. I know the punk scene is really big out at West Lane, so I think it's kind of like the general growth of things. The more, you've seen that forever throughout history of the more angsty sort of music that younger people like, and then their taste develops as they age. But the love for music always stays, no matter what the genre is.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Jim, I am super appreciative again of you letting us use your song here on the podcast. I'm sure all of the people at home listening enjoy it too. It's really added a new, fresh sound to the podcast. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else in regards to kind of you as a musician or the local music scene here that you want to touch on?
I tell you, there's music happening all over this town every weekend. So go out and get you some.
Yeah. And what a unique thing, too. You think of how small of a town we are and how busy we are with everything that there is going on. It's crazy.
And the talent is just amazing out here. These musicians, they're just gifted beyond belief.
Yeah, absolutely. So people, it's highly recommended to go check it out at LCB, West Lane, the local wineries, Fiddler's Crossing, and I'm sure I'm missing several. The list goes on and on. Jim, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Maya.
Of course. As always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you back here next time.